Hi, Richard here again. I want to talk a little bit about lesson planning. Now, partly this is in response to some submissions to the survey that people gave along the lines of, how can I minimise the time it takes to plan lessons? I find that I need my lessons to be really structured, so planning takes me a long time. I'd like some tips on how to make lessons more free-flowing to minimise the time I spend preparing. So there's a couple of aspects there, like it's how do I reduce the time and how can I be more spontaneous? Now, to get into this though, I want to start with something that I've thought about recently. It might come as no surprise to you. I've been thinking about lesson planning a lot over the last month or two as I've been putting this course together, because I haven't thought about lesson planning for years. And you've probably already worked out that I'm not a traditionalist when it comes to lesson planning. And when I hear stories of young teachers spending ages planning lessons, it annoys me. And I started to think, well, why do I get annoyed by this? What is it that sort of aggravates me? And I think I worked it out. And I'd like to share this because it might help you to become clearer on what's important when you're planning lessons. So here's what I think happens. We could call the traditional lesson planning a template lesson plan. It's like, here you are, George. Here's the template I want you to follow. There's your name, the date, the lesson number, some preamble here, what your aims, objectives are, write your success criteria here. I want the introduction every 5 minutes, what you're going to do, and all this stuff, right? I mean, that's to the extreme, but a template approach, means that writing the lesson is a big deal. The thing that annoys me about that is this. I think what happens is that the template lesson plan, other than taking time, it takes your attention away from the lesson. So the task becomes 50%, I've got to get this lesson plan right, and 50% on the lesson. Sure, you're kind of thinking about the lesson, but your focus really is on getting the lesson plan right. And that's completely the wrong way round. You need to have 100% of your attention on the lesson, on what you're doing in the lesson, and your planning needs to be just a support to that. And so the number one thing about your plan is that up here, you know exactly what you're aiming to achieve in the lesson and how you're going to go about that. Now, there's no point writing a 2-page lesson plan because you can't refer to that in the lesson. You can't say, hang on kids, I've just forgotten where we're going. Just hold it there. Another minute and I'll be there. You can't do that. You need little bullet points. Your plan needs to be something that you can quickly refer to. Oh, okay, that's what I'm doing next. Or I better make sure that we've got a transition coming up. Boom, 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 with those 3 steps. Okay, students, stop. So you can easily follow your plan. Now, on the next page, you'll see a process map that a lecturer uses. I think that's a really good model to follow. But at the end of the day, it's a piece of paper that helps her to keep on track with what she's aiming to do in the lesson. So anyway, back to the most important points. So you need to be clear in your head what you're aiming to achieve. You need to communicate that to the students so as they know what you're on about. And you need to have some way of determining whether you have achieved your aims. They're the most important 3 things. Now, the plan is only meant to support that. Writing all this stuff out is a waste of time, but you do need to have some kind of diagrams or something that you can easily follow, bullet points for the key areas. If you know that you know how to do a certain thing, there's no point writing it down. You want to write down in bullet points the things that you are likely to forget. What's next? What do I do next? Now, if you follow this approach, that should save you a fair bit of time. So that was my little revelation about why this annoys me, why this kind of formulaic, time-intensive, template-driven kind of lesson plan annoys me, because I'm not convinced it's very practical and it wastes time. Now, let's deal a little bit more about this time issue. One of the things, or one of the reasons why new teachers spend a lot more time on lesson planning than they need to is a lack of confidence. I know that was the case for me. So it might be a good idea to ask yourself, how confident am I? Do I lack a lot of confidence? And if the answer is yes, then know that you are likely to spend way more time on that lesson plan than you need to. You'd be better off thinking through what you want to achieve, having some bullet points on a piece of paper, and then practicing that in your bedroom or somewhere away from the classroom, and just practicing some of those transitions, practicing your commands that you want to use, practicing the order of the lesson. That will take less time than writing it out, and it will be 3 times more productive. In fact, more than that, because it will help you to get confidence that you know what you're doing because you're actually doing it live. I mean, there's a section in the course where I get you to practice some of this stuff and record. You could even record it if you wanted to. But, what I'm saying is, rather than spending ages writing out 2 pages of a lesson plan, do your bullets and then spend 20 minutes just practicing those transitions verbally to yourself. That will save you time and it will give you more confidence. The thing you're aiming for is to be confident. When you walk into the room confident, the game changes. And getting confidence takes time. Now, in terms of the free-flowing aspect, like how can I be more spontaneous? Once again, being spontaneous comes from confidence. It's difficult to be spontaneous as a beginning teacher. But if becoming more spontaneous was something that you really wanted to develop, maybe for a lesson you could, in your own time, jot down 5 or 10 ways in which different things could happen in the lesson, like different directions you could possibly take the lesson in. Have a think about what might happen. A student might say something, you could take it a different direction. Just to kind of prepare the ground. I'm not saying everyone should do this. I'm just saying if this is something that you really want to develop, I want to become more spontaneous, then start thinking, what might that look like? And then just kind of play through it in your head, or maybe just do some role playing on your own. And then when something does happen in the classroom, you can take it in that direction. But at the end of the day, spontaneity is something that comes with confidence, and confidence comes with time, and it's a process. You can't get this right tomorrow. No lesson's ever going to be perfect. You're aiming to just do a little bit better each lesson. I hope that helps. I hope there was something there for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.